you say 11 James is?
11 James is an annual membership program or club to enjoy luxury watches. It's about discovery, it's about passion, it's about trying before one buys in an industry that doesn't allow for it. It's mostly about fun.
And what sparked your idea, or how did you come up with the idea to start like a luxury watch rental service?
I was very fortunate to have been the first employee of a company called Marquis Jack back in 2001. And across the ensuing decade, I basically had a front row seat to the rise of luxury collaborative consumption, the shared asset business models, and really a redefining of the luxury marketplace as one that previously, a generation ago, prioritized ownership to one that now truly prioritizes access and experiences. And coming from the private jet world and watching this happen to vacation homes and classic cars and dresses and handbags.
You're surrounded by luxury, so.
But I said, what other asset lends itself to a collaborative model?
Yeah.
And I always loved watches since I was a teenager. I was surrounded by 10,000 affluent individuals who were almost uniformly passionate about watches. And I said, wait, they're expensive assets. Variety beats lack of variety. They're profoundly underutilized when you have many of them. It makes total sense to be in a club or a membership program. So I left NetJets to apply that model to watches.
And you said about your teen years how you had an interest in watches. How did that start, or what was your first watch?
My first watch, I didn't have a nice watch until I had earned enough money to really have one. I remember I was in high school, maybe a year or two older than myself, and one of my close friends showed up wearing a blue-faced Audemars Piguet Royal.
Wow. And was that was when the Royal Oak first came out?
Yeah.
So that was like $7,500 for a sports watch.
Exactly.
That was outrageous.
That was an outrageously expensive, and I was a kid who had grown up like thinking like, I think at the time I had a tag for $500, something like that.
Better than nothing.
Right, it was beautiful, tag and a Movado with my watch.
Great history.
Right, great watches, great history, but my tag looked awfully insignificant relative to his AP, and that opened my eyes, and I was like, wow, I thought I knew watches. It's like when you know food because your mom's a good cook, and then you get taken to a 4-star restaurant, and you're like, that's totally different food.
My mom's a horrible cook.
Well,
maybe.
My mom's a cook. I'm sure your mom's a wonderful cook.
My mom's a very good cook, yeah, she's an excellent cook.
So that opened my eyes to this world, and I've been passionate ever since.
And what type of watches do you have at 11 James? And what are the ranges, if you have any ranges? Of course. So.
Our watches fall into 3 different collections. We call them aficionado, connoisseur, and virtuoso. Aficionado is really the entry level into the world of fine horology. They're watches that retail between $7,000 and $15,000. They're primarily steel and construction. They'll have some of the more elemental complications like a chronograph, things of that nature, maybe a power reserve. The connoisseur collection are a step up. You start having more precious metals, more complications, introduction of some brands like a Patek Philippe or an Audemars Piguet. These watches retail between $15,000 and $30,000, average of 20 plus. And then our virtuoso are the most exceptional of the watches. They're watches that retail between $30,000 and $50,000. Every watch is in and of itself exceptional and unique, and particularly interesting. So simplifying, average 10, average 20 plus, average 40.
And for your virtuoso collection, what complications do you have? Because 30 to 50,000 is a limited range for complications. It's sort of like your in-between area. You could find annual calendars from Patek, perpetual step above that. So what can you find in complications?
I mean, right now, it's a great question. It's probably 6 months easily premature before I can give you a robust answer as to what we're offering. Because we only first launched, our whole business launched less than 6 months ago. We only launched the Virtuoso collection in the last month or so. So we are right now curating and obtaining watches for that collection. So I don't yet have, I can tell you, we're focused more on making sure we're checking the fundamentals of the brands before making sure we have every of the master complications represented.
Okay. And what do you expect to see in the next few months, few years with 11 James? Do you want to expand, or do you want to stay the same size and have the same range of watches?
Well, I would say that we're trying to manage our growth. We want our value proposition. At Marquis and NetJets, we drove 90% historical retention rates, because we continue to exceed the very lofty and rightful expectations of our clients.
Of course.
We intend to do the same thing here. So in addition to the watches, we offer myriad value-added benefits, great events, concierge services, personal collection assistance, quite a few things that make it really a robust offering. But if you look at the opportunity, we think that we're looking to go from hundreds to thousands of members to a first big hurdle would be 10,000 members, which we think is really very realistic in the next handful of years domestically. And already, without doing any sort of marketing efforts, more than 10% of the demand on our website is coming in internationally. So the plan would be grow meaningfully here in the US or North America, and then picking other continents and regions to start scaling as well.
Okay. I'm actually wearing an Omega. It was my grandpa's Omega, but I'm curious about what you're wearing today.
I'm wearing from the 11 James collection, rose gold IWC Portofino 8-day power reserve.
Sure.
And it's one of the great things. I'm an absolute variety guy. I like variety in all things.
I do too.
And to be able to have the benefit of wearing a different watch roughly every week from our collection has been the best job perk I've ever had. And I had private jets as a perk for a while.
It seems like the best job ever too, in a way,
It's a ton of fun. We're passionate and enjoying what we do every day.
And this may seem like a hard question to answer, but what is your all-time favorite watch, brand, model, whatever, it's your choice. It's hard for me to answer a question.
Seeing is how.
Yeah.
I want to work with every one of the brands and be their friends with all of them. It's also hard for me to answer that question.
Okay.
I will tell you that I have a unique place in my heart for Audemars and blue-faced watches because of realizing that they existed with that first one.
They're interesting. I've always loved it too. It's different. You don't see it. Usually it's white dial, black dial.
Exactly right.
There's blue dial out there that most people don't, venture into that land of blue dials.
Yeah. But I think to me, I couldn't possibly live with just one watch for the rest of my life. I like variety too much. And that's why I'm excited that there's no less than 20 brands out there that make my heart beat a little faster.
Okay. So I guess that's it. Thanks very much for
Thank you so
being
much.
with me.
Hopefully it's the first of many such chats.
Okay, sounds good.